Hi everyone, welcome to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's Joel and B at Codebreak, and today, stuttering over my words already. Today, we're going to be talking about joining a marketing company. B, welcome to the Stay Hungry podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
So you're the newest member of the Codebreak Crew.
Yeah, and first week and already on a podcast, which is exciting.
Yeah, throw you in at the deep end.
Yeah, but it's good. I like that.
So, I guess for our audience, who are used to all sorts of guests on the podcast, who the hell are you?
I'm B. I am the newest recruit in the Codebreak team, and I'm a marketing assistant, so that's very exciting.
And what gives you the right to be a marketing assistant? What have you done before?
So prior to this, I was a social media coordinator for a toy company, which was really exciting.
Cool.
And before that, I was a events coordinator for a school trips company, and I did all of their blogging and their updating of their website.
Nice. So what kind of toys did you sell?
A range of things. The little ride-on electric cars are very popular. Yeah, and branded. They're not exactly branded, but they are.
So it'd be like a Land Rover electric car. That's well cool.
And then wooden swing sets and trampolines.
So posh toys.
Yeah. Swimming pools.
Like
paddling pools, but like the big ginormous ones that are like paddling, like a swimming pool, really aren't.
Yeah, you could do lengths in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, big variety of toys.
That's cool. So why are you here?
Bit of change of scene.
Yeah.
And also I want to learn like the bigger picture, more about the wider variety of marketing.
Okay.
And obviously working in a marketing company, they obviously share more and do more different styles than you get if you work for one company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's
that sounds like a dig at one of the other candidates, because they've taken the opposite route. They've gone, I want to work for a single company and do their marketing.
I think at some point I probably might want that, because then it's quite...
You're not leaving now.
Well, no,
you just started.
Not in the near future.
Or
but
ever.
Like some point it would be maybe slightly easier, because you only have to do it for one style and one company.
It's boring.
But yeah, that's why I think it would be boring.
Been there and done it. It's boring. Because you have to come up with new ideas all the time for the same stuff. And unless you've got a very, very flexible board of directors or senior manager.
Yeah, or it's changing a lot. Like, we
like
had new products all the time at the toy company, so we always had that going on. So that was always exciting.
Yeah.
But if you have a stage where there's no new products and you're just pushing the same ones, it does get a bit repetitive.
Yeah, I know some people that work in like software as a service, where all they sell is one subscription to one piece of software. And that's brutal. Absolutely brutal. So week one, how's it been?
It's been good. There's been a lot of food, which I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, you'll get used to that.
Definitely need to start riding my bike to work, though, if that's going to be the case.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been really good. I feel the last, obviously we're on Friday now, so we've had 3 days where I feel like I've actually contributed as well.
Yeah.
Because
you had 2 days induction, not because you sat on your ass for 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 days of induction, which is really nice. And I really enjoyed the whole question. You gave us all half an hour with every member of staff to ask questions.
Who gave you the weirdest answer?
Well, we kind of got better at the questions the more we did them.
Okay.
So I don't really think there was a particularly weird answer.
Okay, tell me what you found out about each person that you've sat with. Oh. What have you found out about Emily?
What did we find out about Emily? Oh, her favourite thing is writing the content.
Okay.
That was kind
of... Did they all talk work? Were they all really work focused?
We did ask work focused questions.
Okay.
And it was only when we came to you and Andy that we kind of thought, actually, we could ask.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes to get to know people. But obviously you've got ages to get to know them now, but... Yeah,
and we chatted to them in there about what they're doing in the evening, which kind of gives you an idea of what kind of people they are and stuff.
Yeah. Fergus will be watching Netflix, playing computer games, maybe playing Dungeons and Dragons, doing house stuff, playing banjo and guitar, writing songs. He's like that. Emily will be going to the pub, and she'll listen. If she listens to this, she'll be offended by that. But she also plays hockey. Spends a lot of time with her boyfriend, walks her dog.
Running.
Yeah, she does run sometimes. But I think hockey, if she's playing a lot of hockey, she doesn't need to run as much. Brilliant. The business park caretaker has decided to strim outside our podcast studio just as we've started recording. Evie, she's very creative, so she does a lot of like drawing and art in her spare time, spends a lot of time with her boyfriend who's a videographer. Andy runs and cycles nearly all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. And reads. He's like a reading, running and cycling machine.
I think I would be in the reading machine.
Yeah? How many books do you get through?
Well, my aim this year was to read 24 within the year, which is 2 a month.
Yeah.
And I've read 11 books this year.
So you're ahead of where you need to be.
I'm 4 books ahead according to my Goodreads.
And, I mean, obviously Where's Wally's easy to get through, but how big are these books?
The book I'm reading at the moment is 315 pages.
Okay.
And that's probably about the average.
And you haven't read Stay Hungry yet, have you?
No.
So that's something we need to announce on the podcast. It's a bit embarrassing for me to say it, but by some minor miracle, Andy and I have become best-selling authors.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah. It was a good use of lockdown to write a book. That was...
I'm looking forward to it, like, as soon as once I can get round to reading it.
I think
It'll be a priority.
The printed copies should be coming today.
Oh, exciting.
So you can have one. But it should really explain our marketing that sells system from start to finish.
So it'd be a good read to know.
Yeah. Good for clients, good for suppliers, good for staff. And obviously really useful to people who just really want to skyrocket their marketing. But just absolutely mad to launch it and then become bestsellers. And we overtook some people. Well, we overtook Seth Godin on the chart. And Seth Godin's like the guru of marketing. He's like the Zeus of marketing. And I'm like, it hasn't
sunk in.
No, it hasn't sunk in yet. I'm kind of... well, my wife kept me really grounded about it, to be honest, because on Saturday she said, what's your book called again? So that made me want to crash the car. And then on Sunday, when it became a bestseller, so it became a bestseller on Sunday, and I got a ping on my computer, congratulations. And I turned to my wife, who was reading a magazine on the other sofa, and said, I'm a best-selling author. And she looked up at me and went, oh, that's good, and took a sip of her tea and carried on reading her magazine and stroking the dog. But it's not...
Blasé about it.
Yeah, and I sound like she's horrible. She isn't. She's the most supportive woman ever, and I couldn't have done it without her in my life. But she also knows that if I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. So when I do it, it's not a surprise to her.
Yeah. How did you go about writing it? Is it like a chapter each, or did you write a bit together?
So it's a chapter each, and it's labelled throughout the book who wrote which chapter. Mm-hmm. So you can tell the 70s jokes from the 80s jokes, because the 70s jokes are Andy and the 80s jokes are me.
It'd be wasted on me.
Yeah, I try and link back to relatively contemporary times. Andy doesn't bother. And it's literally from nothing, no marketing, right the way through to everything you need to market a small to medium-sized business.
Wow.
And so, yeah, be more visible, reach more people, get more sales.
Is it thick or?
It's 144 pages. It's not a massive read, 26,000 words.
Okay.
So
if you, with the Eat the Frog book, I divided that up and it was 20 pages a day to read it in 6 days.
Yes.
So it would be something that's similar.
Yeah. It's a week read. It's not going to take you a month or 2 months.
Well, unless you're stopping to implement all the things that you're saying.
Yeah, and we reference resources and places to go and things to do, and if you want to speak to us and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's the big news for me this week. But it's been a mad week because obviously the office refurb got finished. 2 new staff, including yourself. Yeah. The book became a bestseller. We've got 2 more staff on the way. We onboarded a client this week. I think we're going to onboard 3 more next week. It
has been a very busy week and very exciting week, though, I think.
Has it felt exciting?
Yeah. I have to say, I do feel tired today, but I think, obviously...
Well, Monday, Tuesday's a lot to take in.
Yeah. And I think constantly learning is very tiring as well, isn't it?
So what have you learned this week?
I've learned about different styles of writing for social media posts for different companies.
Yep. Has anyone told you about the pass system yet?
No.
Okay. Has anyone talked to you about pane stacking?
No.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to bang a few heads together. So pass is problem, agitate, solve.
Okay.
Or problem, agitate, solution. So it's like a car owner, for example. It's awful when you go over a pothole. And so that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's awful when you go over a pothole. And worse still, when it blows out your tyre. So that's agitate.
Yeah.
The good news is, so this is where solves come in. We've got an instant puncture repair kit for your car.
Yeah.
So that's the pass system. So that's how you write sales copy in a way that shows people you can solve their problem and that they might not even realise how bad their problem is. Because if you've hit a pothole hard and you've got a slow puncture, maybe you don't realise you've burst your tyre till the following day.
Yeah. Because, yeah, they're saying so your educational post is about making sure that you've told them that you know what their issue is and found a solution to it.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, problem, agitate, solve, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a framework that's been used for 100 years in marketing, and something that we use, particularly when you're going for the jugular. So a post that's more about selling your product than it is about your team or your culture or your values. But it's a really, really easy way to build up content because every company is solving something. So an accountant is taking away the pain of HMRC, or a solicitor is taking away all the legal wrangling from you, or a sign company is making sure you present yourself as well as you can. That everyone is solving something, and if they're not solving something, they've got a problem with their business. So problem, agitate, solve. So I think indirectly you've probably been doing that this week. But
probably, yeah. Without realising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else have you learnt this week?
I don't. It sounds really bad to say I don't really know what I've learned. I like that kind of learning though, because you don't feel like you're
just absorbing.
Yeah, you're just absorbing rather than it being.
What have you learnt about Poddy, the other newbie?
Oh, he's very young.
Bless him.
He was talking about, the reason I say that, he was talking about his breakfast in bed the other day, and I was like, what? This doesn't happen. Obviously I live alone, so obviously it's not
Who brings him breakfast in bed?
I think his mum bought him breakfast in bed the other day.
I'm never letting that down.
Yeah. And I was like, I want to go back to that kind of life. That would never happen. Even if I lived with my parents, that wouldn't happen.
Oh, I really want to call him in and roast him on the podcast. I won't do that.
No, you can save that for another time.
I don't think my mum ever brought me breakfast in bed.
I don't ever remember having. Maybe
if I was ill. Yeah, if I was ill, a cup of tea, yeah.
But that would be about it.
A cup of tea or Lucozade if I was ill, I think.
Yeah.
That would be. But breakfast in bed, that's from your mum. Isn't that weird?
Maybe.
But
he's very sporty.
He's very sporty. So I might not look it, but I think I was the sporty one of the office before. But I'm definitely not now.
Been outranked.
Yeah, hockey, football. I think he nearly made it as a professional footballer from what he said. So
he's very keen on everything. Get involved. Get stuck in.
Yeah.
Which is
enthusiasm.
Nice. Yeah.
That's why he's here. His enthusiasm is infectious.
It is, yeah.
And
he's quite a positive person as well.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how stressed people are around him.
Yeah.
He's very get on with it. And I think that's a good character to have in the office.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about Andy?
Likes his bike, likes his running.
Does like his bike and his running, that's true.
Very good at the noticing if there's a small maybe error.
You'll get used to that.
Well, I learned something new from him. Our team is, not our team are.
Yeah. But our teams are.
Yeah. Mind-boggling.
So a company name, so Codebreak, can strictly be is or are, but we would always be is, singular, because the company is an entity in itself. But you could be talking about the collective team that is Codebreak.
Yeah.
But we're not. a team is singular, always is singular, and teams are plural.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's up there with one of the sort of things that only Andy and J.K. Rowling would notice.
Yeah, and but we had discussed it before we'd posted it. We were like, is it is or is it are? And now it's something that I feel like I'm never going to forget.
Yeah.
I feel like if you think about it, is if you could put our team or the company name, it should be is, and then plural of it is are.
Yeah, that makes it easy to remember. Exactly. Yeah. So, exactly, if it feels like it's plural, it's are. If it can be classed as singular, because a company can be classed as plural or singular.
Yeah.
If it can be classed as singular, just go with is, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Grammarly picked it up and said it was are, so that was interesting.
Wow. I'll have to see about that.
Maybe there's an American way of saying things that's
or maybe
different.
team falls into that category that a company does, and it's singular and plural. But we're talking about it in a singular sense.
Yeah.
These are the kind of nuances that you have to worry about in social media. People don't realise. They don't realise the pressure and the stress.
Yeah, and you probably, when you read social posts, probably don't think about it. But then when you start writing them and have to think about these things, you then start noticing when they're not quite right.
Yeah. I mean, the other day, Emily won't mind me saying, but she'd written a really, really good post about Codebreak. And it was about Poddy. And then his favourite song. But everything else was perfect, but the song wasn't in title case. And it was the first thing I saw when I looked at it.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, I'm sure, it's like, Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But
it can be really frustrating when someone nitpicks at it after you spent ages. But it has to be done at the same time because you want it to look right.
And it's not a criticism of the individual. People pay us a lot of money to make sure that's right, and that's it's got to be right.
And the same as well, like, you might not notice it because you've been looking at it for a while.
Yeah.
It probably looks right. But fresh eyes will look at it and go, oh, that's where this is the problem.
Yeah, exactly that. And you only learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from your successes. So as long as nobody goes away with their head down, it's all good.
No, haven't felt like that.
Good. So what else can I ask you about your first week? Is it what you expected?
I think so.
I think that's good.
Well, my friend texted me the other day saying, how's it going? We'd worked somewhere before together where there'd been a lot of promises and nothing had ever happened.
Okay.
And she said, how do they stand up on everything that they said in their interview? And I was like, pretty good so far.
Anything we've missed?
Not that I know of.
That's good.
And some things come with time. Like, obviously, I need to settle in before we're going to progress to anything else.
Yeah. Week one.
Yeah.
Just learning the ropes.
So, but yeah, it's been good. I've really enjoyed my first week, actually.
Yeah, we have a bit of a behind-the-scenes motto here, always under-promise and over-deliver. So anything we've told you, chances are we're planning more. Anything we tell a client, chances are we're planning more.
I like that.
But it's about expectation management. So if people feel like they're getting more, but we plan to do it all along.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's the perfect place for them to be, whether that's staff, suppliers, clients. It makes them feel special because they are special to us. And so that's how it goes. So what's your favourite Codebreak value? Do you remember them all yet?
I remember some of them.
Okay. They're behind you on the wall to help.
I really like read and lead.
Okay.
Because I do believe you can learn anything you need to know from a book.
That's very true.
I had that as a application for a job once. What's the best invention in the world? And I said books.
Books or the printing press?
Explain the difference for me.
Books wouldn't exist without the printing press.
True, but...
Well, they would, but they'd be hard to read and they would be few and far between.
I feel like you're being nitpicky on it.
You'll get used to this.
I guess the printing process, really.
I think the distribution of information to the masses is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I find it fascinating how the internet has somehow made most people more stupid.
Definitely. And the same as well, I'm definitely guilty of this. Instead of looking at the clock, I will ask Google or Alexa what the time is. And that's not... I could literally look at the clock that's probably next to it
I
But
quite
instead
like
you
that.
just-
I never think to ask Alexa what the time is. Alexa, what's the time?
The time is 9:26 a.m.
Thank you.
By the way, I can tell you about the weather at a specific time of day. Just say, what's the
All
weather?
right, I didn't ask for your life story. So she tells us the time and then starts telling us about the weather.
I just bought a Google Nest,
Have you?
and that I've put it in my room so that I can leave my phone out downstairs,
Yep.
which is a new thing.
Fergus has got shorts on.
Oh,
Shorts
weather.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be warm enough for shorts.
It is in here.
Well, yeah, in here it's quite warm.
Although it's a bit colder in there. So, what are your hopes and dreams? Here he is. It's Fergus walking in on the podcast. We predicted it. It's already in the recording.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, just let the door slam, Fergus. Don't worry about it. I'm glad you're wearing shorts because I'm not the only one.
Hey!
So,
I didn't know shorts were acceptable, but now I do.
I don't know if they are either. I know on a Friday they probably are.
Okay.
So,
I don't really wear shorts, so
Oh.
not really.
so, what are your hopes and dreams for your career at Codebreak?
To learn as much as possible. Is that a suitable?
Yeah. That shouldn't be too much trouble, I don't think.
No.
There'll be plenty coming your way.
Obviously, you guys have just learnt how to write a book. So obviously you guys are always learning as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's really nice to have that. There's no stopping learning here.
Oh yeah, there's no barrier. I think Andy and I both strongly feel if you're not learning, you're going backwards.
Yeah, and I like that a lot because we obviously all need to learn and move with the times, if you like.
Yeah. And like a lot of our learning now seems to be forgotten skills, things that people have always known. So I mean, like Andy reads a lot of Sabi Subri and Kennedy and stuff like that, and some of these like traditional marketing values and sales values from the 40s and 50s, just as valid today. Just because we've got social media or the internet doesn't mean
Yeah,
we
it's
shouldn't
just
still
a
use them. You just got
Different
to
distribution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Don't you think that's amazing though that they worked those things out that long ago and they're still relevant now?
Because it's all psychology.
Yeah.
Everything is psychology, and I mean Andy's degree is psychology, so that gives you some insight.
It makes a bit of sense. Do you have a
Um,
degree?
Do I have a degree? Yeah, in graphic design.
Okay, that makes sense actually. I think I did know that.
I was also an accountant. Figure that out. Works well for business though.
Does work well for business. But yeah.
But I was like, I've always been a geek. That's my that's my jam. Is I hate not knowing, so I have to know. So
Yeah.
if it's not appropriate for me to spend the time on it in a work environment, I'll go find out in my own time.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't put myself in the geek category. But I
What are
would
your hobbies?
knitting and crocheting,
Yeah, and reading.
reading, sewing, baking.
I mean, there's a strong argument you might be a geek.
I don't think that's geeky. I think it's, well, a lot of people say it's granny-ish.
That's a bit mean.
Yeah, it is a bit
Well, they
mean,
mean
but-
it in a mean way. My grand's lovely, so
Yeah, so's mine.
yeah. So
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't say they're geeky things though. But maybe they are. I think everyone has a certain element of geekiness to them.
see, geeky used to be negative, and I think now it's quite positive.
Yeah.
If you're a geek, it's nothing to be afraid of, sort of thing.
But I don't think
Nerd
at
is a
school
bit
I
different,
was geeky. I didn't really like school.
didn't you?
I was outdoorsy. I wasn't read a
That's
book.
through me.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting how you change. Because I never thought I'd like reading. I didn't read very well as a child, so I didn't want to. I didn't read the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Because at the point when everyone was reading them, my reading wasn't quite good enough. So I would have had to read it with my mum, which wouldn't have been a problem, but I didn't want to because all my friends were reading it on their own. And so I didn't read them. And then when I turned 18, my friend found out I hadn't read them and she was like, this is outrageous. And she bought me the first book to get me back into it.
I haven't read them.
I've only read the first 3.
I tried reading them. They're not for me.
Have you watched the films?
Yeah, reluctantly.
Because you felt you should.
My wife loves them.
Okay.
My brother likes them, and he liked the books. I think I was more Lord of the Rings than Harry Potter.
Oh, Lord I couldn't Lord of the Rings. They're too long.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of into like Arthurian legend and stuff. I told you I was a geek.
Did you read the Game of Thrones books?
Yeah, and obviously watched it all.
Yeah, I don't think I could read the books. I don't think I could keep up with the amount of characters there are.
So I found reading the books hard. My wife listened to the audio books and found that a lot easier.
Okay. Maybe that's the way forward then.
Yeah, so I like all this kind of like Arthurian legend, which is kind of the template for all of these things. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, they all sort of follow a similar thing to Arthurian legends. But, yeah. So what are you doing with your first weekend after a week at Codebreak?
First weekend. This evening, I'm going out for drinks with my friends.
Where?
At the Armoury.
Nice. So on the riverside, you can sit outside on the...
Yeah,
nice.
because you can't go inside, so it's all outside.
On the road. They close the road at 7 o'clock, don't they, and put more tables out.
More tables out, which is nice. And I can walk there, which is even better.
Cool.
Tomorrow is a chorey day. I've got to do my food shop, otherwise I'm going to starve.
Tidy up the house.
Tidy up the house.
Because you've been at work all week.
Do my washing. You know, all the fun things that you do as an adult at the weekend. And then on Sunday, I'm meeting with some of my book club.
Nice.
It's not book club meeting, but we haven't been able to meet in person for ages, so we're just meeting up
Going
for
for
a
a
chat.
coffee.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's nice.
And I will have finished the book by then anyway, but it's still got a couple more weeks.
So you're in a book club as well. You sure you're not a geek?
I know. I joined the book club to make friends because I'd moved to Shrewsbury and I didn't know anyone.
Nice.
It was a great way of getting to know new people, and now I have 6 new friends out of it.
Where's the book club based?
Shrewsbury. Like just Shrewsbury.
Is it a Facebook book club?
Yeah.
Is it? Right, okay.
And then we meet, we used to meet and then obviously we went onto Zoom and now we're hopefully going to start meeting up again.
You're going to join Chadstone's book club. Have we told you about this?
I learnt about it yesterday while doing their social media. Yes, maybe.
There's no pressure to join. I go because you get to read a business book every month and it's interesting. But
I don't know whether they'd always be relevant because I read it. I don't know if I've read this wrong as business owners, and obviously I'm not a business owner.
Yeah,
but
you're promoting other business owners, so that's why it would be relevant to someone at Codebreak.
Okay. Well, maybe after you read the book, I could read the book.
Well, yeah, I think being made to come to the book club might be a bit much, but obviously they'll be on our bookshelf here afterwards. Loads of them already. I'll start with Why was last month's.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd seen that on the shelf.
Cool. So how's your first podcast been?
It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
I've just realised I forgot to press any adverts throughout the whole thing. Should we chuck one in at the end?
Go on then.
Hi there, it's Andy at Codebreak. Thanks for listening to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's business owners like you that keep the wheels of the world turning. Did you know that Codebreak offers a marketing consultancy service? Visit codebreak.co.uk today and book your discovery call with me or Joel, and let's skyrocket your business together. We can't wait to hear about your goals.
There's one of the ads.
Nice.
Right.
How many should you have put in?
In half an hour, 1 or 2.
Okay, so we got 1 in.
We got at the very end. If you listen to the end, thanks very much. And yeah.
Do you not listen to the whole? Do people not listen to the whole thing?
We get quite a few that listen to the whole thing, but it's kind of some people drop off.
Oh no! If we're going to listen to it,
Commit, yeah.
Yeah, or even if, like, let's say I've listened to the first 15 minutes, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Okay.
So yeah, welcome to Codebreak. Welcome to your first Stay Hungry podcast. And
Enjoyed
looking forward to working with you.
Yeah.